Live from WTOC, the Southeast news leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Happy Thursday. Thanks for spending part of your morning with us here on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley, joined with meteorologist Andrew Gordon as we continue to track really cold temperatures, potential snow as well this weekend, Andrew. I know we're about 3 days out from the weekend now, so are we getting a better idea of what we could be expecting?
Yeah, I'd say we're just over 48 hours out from some of that potential moisture from starting to come in. So let's take a look at what you can expect for the forecast. Of course, we'll go over the next couple of days, but a lot of people wanting to talk about this weekend, and hey, you're in the right place for it. Temperatures starting out above freezing, but it will get colder in the afternoon into the evening. So really haven't seen the forecast change much. We have bumped up the precip coverage just a little bit. Still very confident that we're going to have those record-breaking lows Sunday morning. So where it does happen to snow for Saturday, that's not going to go anywhere between Saturday night and Sunday morning. Let's take a look at where we're at right now. This is the tower camera zoomed into the Talmadge Bridge. It's not a bad day. We've got more 40s around now. Temperatures jumping up here. Still a slight wind chill feeling like 44, but temperatures themselves starting to pop up into the 50s as well. Hinesville at 53, 50 Richmond Hill, 50 Jessup, 52 Brunswick. This is nice. This is an improvement from yesterday for a lot of our communities. And we're seeing some of the cloud cover to our west get closer. So I know we have the sunshine now. I do think we'll have some more clouds come in. That kind of caps how warm we get this afternoon. Still looking at probably mid-50s for many communities. So as we go through the next few hours, you see that cloud emblem there. It's going to be with that sun. So mixed sun and clouds there for your afternoon. Light breeze from the north. Now, as we go through the next few days, tomorrow morning, inland areas, yes, could still briefly get below freezing, maybe for a couple hours. Friday, we warm up closer to 60. Friday evening plans after sunset in the 40s. That's good to go. We already got a preview of Saturday, just kind of hitting that point home. That rain, precipitation chance, and maybe even some snow chance comes up as we go through the afternoon and evening. Right here, right now, though, we are technically not included in any winter storm watches, advisories, anything like that. Weather Service usually will start popping these within 48 hours, so we're almost there.
Right there.
So I would not be surprised by late afternoon, evening if some of our far northern areas kind of included in some sort of alert. They just kind of have a timeline they work on. Same goes for tropical systems. So as we get closer, your confidence goes up. You start to see those alerts go out from the Weather Service, and then we communicate those along. That being said, we've been talking about this all week, so we have known that this potential is there. That cold air, the moisture move in this weekend, confidence going up a little bit on the precip forecast, pattern still favoring rain kind of changing then over to snow north of I-16, even better yet up the Savannah River further north, and then very cold Sunday morning. So similar bullet points to yesterday, meaning that we have not really changed the forecast. Looking at who has the best chance for snow, that darker shaded blue area. So that would be Statesboro, Shawnee, north, up into Hampton County, Sylvania. That's who has the best chance because you're going to be closest to that colder air, that low. Maybe some flurries, a dusting, lighter accumulations for the I-16 corridor, and then not much expected further off to the south. Could that change? Sure. You know, it's very difficult to forecast snow totals because 1 inch of rain does not equal 1 inch of snowfall. I kind of mentioned this yesterday. Most models run on a 10-to-1 ratio. So if you got 1 inch of snow, that would equate to 1 inch of rain equates to 10 inches of snow. Granted, we're not expecting that. You can see here the European model, if it were just rain, would be a tenth of an inch of rainfall. That's no big deal, right? That's not a first alert day. That's just a little rain. Well, you convert it to snow and you could get a few tenths. So snow forecasting, very finicky, very difficult. It's not like we have the most experience at it, but hey, we are doing our best. I am here for the challenge. This is the GFS. It keeps that wintry precip north until we kind of go after sunset into your Saturday. So notice this actually pulls it a little bit further south. I think the cold air will be in place. It's just where's the moisture going to be? That's the big question. And this kind of lingers into the evening, but it's out of here by sunrise on Sunday. Notice we're very cold at this point. Let's take a look at the European model. Brings in a little rain first, and then we see those temperatures start freezing late afternoon into the evening. Both models pretty confident that by sunset we're having freezing temperatures for a lot of this region. Remember, we're cooling down quicker. This is dry air. This is Arctic air. It's not your normal little cold front. So by 8 p.m. Saturday, let's just say 16 north Savannah River. Notice you kind of have those deeper shades there. That's where your better chances for the snow will be. And that with it being a low pulling away, will pull that moisture north as well, which makes sense as to why you could have higher snow totals further north, because that is where we have the longest amount of time where moisture could be, because you're closest to the low. Backside of this, more to talk about. This has not changed this week either. We've been pretty consistent in our forecasting of temperatures for Sunday morning. Widespread teens, lower 20s. So you have to prepare for this. With the wind chills being in the single digits to about 10. Same time, and again, areas that do get any of that moisture, it's going to stick around because it's coming in while we are freezing, so it stays freezing. It does not evaporate. So there could be some slick spots on Sunday morning for northern areas. Not talking about Waycross or St. Simons or Jessup. Really northern areas could have some problems. New graphic for you. Freeze preps, hard freeze there for your Sunday morning. Of course, we talk about the 4 Ps. Might as well put the words on your screen. Of course, a lot of us don't have livestock, but you want to take care of them as well. Plants, you can, of course, insulate those as well. Bring the sensitive ones inside. Hopefully, you've been doing that. Wrap exposed pipes and faucets. You can get them even on Amazon or wherever you shop. I've got some. That's important when we get down into the teens. And then just be a good neighbor. Check on them, especially if you have elderly neighbors that live alone. Help any others with preps. If you see one of your older neighbors kind of having trouble with things, make sure everybody's good to go. That's how you can be a good neighbor. So let's take a look at your 7-day forecast, putting it all together. There is some good news in this. This looks like the only day that we have a wintry precip possible, not just for the next week, but probably week and a half. Okay. So Saturday afternoon, more so, I would even frame more so into the evening, where your impacts start to go up because it's the coldest people on the road. Oh, it's a novelty. That's cool. Let's get out there. Probably not the best idea. I'm going to be home, hopefully. And then Sunday morning, of course, it's very cold. Heater's going to be working. You want to use your space heater safely as well, they say. Have at least a few feet away from yourself and other objects. Jude, I said there's good news.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
We're going to go into the 10-day forecast. I see
All
some
right.
60s.
That's a little better.
Is that near average? Sure. But anything's going to feel warmer compared to our highs in the 40s. Yeah. So let's just be perfectly clear when it comes to snow forecasting. A tenth of an inch for 20 miles, that's going to determine if you get something or not, to be quite honest. So the margin of error is heightened just because it takes less moisture to create more snow. It's not something we've all been taught in grade school, and if you were, you've probably forgot it by now. It doesn't mean you're going to be any nicer to us, but just know that you have a lower degree of confidence when it comes to snow forecasting. But, we still put a forecast out there, and that's what we're thinking right now.
So right now, highest chances north of the 16.
Yeah.
Other big takeaway is that if we do see flurries, get through Saturday, and all we have to deal at that point is just really cold temperatures for a couple days.
But you could have slick roads. If some models are popping inch to an inch and a half of snowfall, if that falls Saturday night, it will be there Sunday morning. Yeah. So we will be above freezing into the afternoons, but shady spots or areas that we have so many tall pine trees and 2-lane roads, they just don't melt. So am I expecting issues for Monday? Not widespread. But let's see what happens on Saturday into Sunday, and we'll go from there.
Something we'll continue to track. Thanks for joining us this morning, Andrew. Certainly appreciate it. Well, we do have something just into our newsroom here on WTOC Plus. Let me pull up what we know. As there are some road closures in Metter right now due to an active structure fire. Metter police are asking folks to avoid South Roundtree Street near the post office. The fire department is currently dealing with a structure fire in that area, and they're blocking off access to the roads to try and prevent any backups or congestion. So again, if you're in Metter near the post office or near Roundtree Street, just expect a detour. Maybe stay away from that area while crews work on this active structure fire. We will keep you posted and let you know once those roads have reopened. And Chatham County fire crews are investigating an overnight structure fire on Fort Argyle Road. At 1:24 a.m., Chatham fire crews were sent to the 1000 block of Fort Argyle Road for a structure fire. Once crews arrived, they said they found a single-wide trailer on fire. Now, crews worked to stop the spread, but say that 3 cars and an ATV were also impacted. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, and Chatham County fire officials say it is now under investigation. And in Bluffton, the Bluffton Township Fire responded to a fire in an abandoned structure near Bluffton Parkway and Buck Island Road this morning. You can see that response there on your screen right now. Fire officials say that this fire has now been put out. Well, we're continuing coverage out of Long County as sheriff's deputies arrested and charged former Ludowici City Clerk Tina Skipper yesterday afternoon. This comes after Skipper was fired for cause back in November. She faces one felony count of theft by taking. New documents released to WTOC detail the reasons for her firing. The Ludowici City Attorney, Luke Moses, says the city discovered Skipper paid herself over $10,000 more than her pay rate during the months of October and November. Moses says council members questioned Skipper's pay after a routine review of bank records. She was then fired back in November by a unanimous council vote. Whitney McGowan now serves as the interim city clerk. Now, Skipper's attorney claims in an email she was fired for, quote, stigmatized reasons. Skipper was released on a $25,000 bond. We will keep you updated as this case continues to develop. Well, we have a WTOC update about the Savannah Best Buy robbery. Police have arrested a Best Buy employee who allegedly allowed customers to steal more than $40,000 worth of electronics from the Abercorn Street store over a 2-week period back in December. 20-year-old Dorian Allen was taken into custody December 26th after Best Buy management discovered he had been letting customers leave with merchandise without paying from December 8th through the 22nd. According to an SPD report, Allen told investigators he was being blackmailed by a, quote, hacker group who threatened to release nude photos he had posted on Instagram. He claimed the hackers sent him emails with descriptions of people he should allow to steal merchandise. The police report shows Allen allegedly helped customers steal 143 items worth just over $40,000. Now, last week, SPD released these images of multiple individuals connected to the thefts, prompting a strong response by the community. Chatham County Sheriff Richard Coleman praised residents for providing tips to help identify several of these suspects. Turning now to state news, hundreds of boxes at the Fulton County Election Hub have been seized by the FBI. The search is related to the investigation into Georgia's 2020 presidential election results. Niamani Watson with our sister station has more.
Around 25 FBI personnel were here taking away an unknown number of documents related to Georgia's 2020 election. Fulton County officials say they were not aware of the raid beforehand. FBI agents were seen securing the area around the warehouse and loading boxes of records from the building into trucks. An FBI spokesperson says the boxes contained 2020 election ballots and receipts from the scanners used to tally the ballots. The search centers around President Donald Trump's claims that the 2020 election was stolen from him. The Department of Justice and several groups in Georgia, including the State Elections Board, have sued Fulton County to get access to those documents. But Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts says the 2020 elections were fair and every legal vote was counted. He says he does not know what the FBI is going to do with the boxes of ballots.
So we can no longer, and I can no longer, as chair of this board, satisfy not only the citizens of Atlanta, but the citizens of the world that those ballots are still secure. So that is a major concern that I have right now.
I think the FBI is going to do their job, and I think it's about time that that people have answers.
And some Republican lawmakers took to social media praising the raid. Meanwhile, Fulton County says they were already planning to hand over the 2020 election documents. Reporting from Union City, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.
Now, it is important to remind you that this case does remain sealed, but we do have some of the documents from Fulton County Commissioner Marvin Arrington Jr. The portions we have show that a judge approved federal agents to access the Fulton County Elections Hub in Union City, Georgia. Those agents were allowed to take several items, including physical ballots from the 2020 election. That's when President Trump lost Georgia to former President Joe Biden. Now, this search comes just weeks after the 2020 election interference case against President Trump was dropped. Fulton County's district attorney and some lawmakers claim President Trump tried to coerce Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger in a phone call to, quote, find the votes. Raffensperger has stood by the Fulton County election, saying it was fair and secure. Moving now to news out of the Low Country. It took 3 years, but the Public Defender's Office finally received a payment from Hampton County. The county owed the office just over $178,000, which was brought to light when the office went before the county in a public meeting to demand it. All counties are required to pay their public defender's office 4 times a year for services. It is common for a county to miss a payment or two, but Hampton County missed 12. Now, we spoke with the district attorney's office about the problem, who said despite challenges, their staff continued to show up for work.
They're motivated and they care about the Constitution. So they're going to show up and they're going to do their best regardless of whether or not the counties pay.
The Public Defender's Office receives money from the state, but the money from the county goes toward paying bills and staff. And over the past 3 years, they had to pull from their state money to make ends meet. Staying in South Carolina, last night was the final State of the State address from South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster. He shared his thoughts and opinions and initiatives he wants to see across the Palmetto State. State House reporter Stephen Biddix has more on his message.
In Governor Henry McMaster's 9th and final State of the State speech, he reflected on his time as South Carolina's longest tenured governor. He also urged lawmakers to consider some of his proposals and budget requests, like raising public school teachers' minimum salaries and setting aside more than $1 billion for road infrastructure improvements.
The Honorable Henry Dargan McMaster, the governor of the great state of South Carolina. Governor.
Pomp and circumstance filled the evening as Governor Henry McMaster delivered his final State of the State. McMaster became governor in January of 2017, looking back and highlighting his accomplishments.
Since 2017, we've announced over $53.7 billion in new capital investment and almost 100,000 new jobs. Why? Because state government is in superior fiscal shape. Our laws and policies are business friendly.
McMaster spent a considerable amount of his nearly 1-hour speech discussing education, urging lawmakers to raise teacher salaries, continue freezing college tuition for in-state students, and pushing for universal full-day 4K.
Not only should we increase funding, but I urge the General Assembly, I urge you to soon offer universal full-day 4K for all children, regardless of household income in our state.
As South Carolina's growth boom continues, McMaster wants $1.1 billion set aside for road projects, calling for deeper studies to be done to make sure the state can sustain this growth.
And reality requires that we seriously assess whether our state's infrastructure and government services will be able to catch up with this unrestrained, out-of-state population growth.
Wrapping up his 9th and final State of the State, thanking his wife, Peggy, and expressing gratitude for the state that has given him everything he has.
The best is yet to come. I love this state, and I know you do too.
Reporting at the State House, I'm Stephen Biddix.
Well, back in Georgia, efforts are underway to help give people a way to accurately describe what kind of help they need during an emergency. If passed, Eric's Law would let people with hidden disabilities place special butterfly symbols on their ID. A 21-year-old man in Maryland who has autism created the law. He said his mother taught him early on what to do if he's ever questioned by police, but some of his friends might not know.
She told me to put my hands up, call out her number, and y'all, I have autism. And I told my mom I can do that, but I'm concerned about others who look like me with a disability would not know what to do. They probably would be scared, they probably be shocked.
Eric's Law has been introduced in both the Georgia House and Senate. It would need to be voted on in both in order to become law. Well, happening tomorrow, Isle of Hope residents can get some answers on the future of their fire department. Officials with Isle of Hope Volunteer Fire have expressed concerns to WTOC back in October after the county included taxing the unincorporated area to fund the new county fire department. County Commissioner Chester Ellis says he wants to ease fears about a takeover.
And that's not the situation at all. So I want them to hear from us as to what is happening and how Isle of Hope will be, because we don't have a fire tax. We put it in the millage rate. We want to dispel the rumors, okay, and get them on the right page of knowing where we're going and what we're going to do.
The Isle of Hope Volunteer Fire Department has 27 certified firefighters and 3 support firefighters. Tomorrow's meeting is at 6 p.m. at Isle of Hope Elementary School. Also happening tomorrow, more than 1,000 volunteers are set to bring the gift of reading to thousands of young students right here across our communities. United Way of the Coastal Empire's Read United Day returns tomorrow. Volunteers will head into elementary classrooms across Bryan, Chatham, Effingham, Liberty, and Long counties to read aloud to pre-K through second graders. They'll also donate a brand new book to each classroom. It's expected to reach more than 20,000 children to spark a lifelong love of reading and boost early literacy. It's a great way to make a difference, one story at a time. And just like every year, our WTOC crews will be there in the classroom reading to those kids as well. And finally, here on WTOC Plus, music's biggest night is just a couple of days away. Kendrick Lamar, Lady Gaga, and Sabrina Carpenter are setting the tempo with a combined 22 Grammy nominations. CBS's Gwen Bumgarner is taking note of what's expected to win big during Sunday's Grammy Awards.
Kendrick Lamar leads the 2026 Grammys with 9 nominations, an encore of last year's success where he took home 5 awards. He's competing again for Record of the Year alongside Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Chappell Roan, and Rosé and Bruno Mars.
Initially, I kind of thought Kendrick Lamar had it in the bag. Now, I've kind of changed my tune, and I think it's more of a race in some of the top categories between Bad Bunny and Lady Gaga.
Music critic Chris Willman says the Grammys voter base is evolving.
One thing the Recording Academy has done recently is invite everyone who votes for the Latin Grammys to become a voter for the regular Grammys. And so that is going to cause a big shift, I think, in giving Latin music more of a chance.
Puerto Rican powerhouse Bad Bunny is nominated for 6 Grammys. Newcomer Leon Thomas also has 6 nominations.
That's a real vote of confidence for him. He's kind of the anointed one this year.
However, Willman predicts Olivia Dean will take the award for Best New Artist. She faces off against Thomas, Cat's Eye, The Marias, influencer Addison Rae, Somber, Alex Warren, and messy singer Lola Young. But music's biggest night includes more than just music.
Best audiobook, where you've got the Dalai Lama versus Fab from Milli Vanilli. And only at the Grammys does that become a competition.
The category also includes actress Kathy Garver, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Trevor Noah, who returns to host the Grammys for the 6th time. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, I think I might be getting a little old. I think I recognized maybe 2 of those songs. I'm much better with the movie stuff. I can talk about the Best Picture nominations for a whole hour here on WTOC Plus. If you combine all the times I've talked about it, it maybe equals an hour. Anyways, with that, we're going to wrap things up here for The News on WTOC Plus. Thanks for spending part of your morning with us. The News at noon is coming up in just about 35 minutes at 12 o'clock here on WTOC and WTOC Plus. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and here's Local News Live.